Hey guys, I'm going to walk you through how to get HubSpot data in Google Data Studio. So why would you want HubSpot data in Google Data Studio? Good question. The main reason is that your client's CRM, and of which HubSpot is a very popular one, but there's also things like Salesforce. That's usually where the business is done, right? So that's where sales confirms that they've closed a lead. That's where they actually keep track of their, what's happening to their clients, right? If it's an agency. So actually seeing the CRM data associated with your marketing campaigns is super important for a lot of clients, particularly B2B. And not having this data means that you're always kind of guessing as to whether the traffic you're driving after they convert, like what's actually happening to it. You can never figure out lifetime value if you don't have CRM data. So really, really important that we get to grips with it. But it can be tough to get into Google Data Studio. So here's how it works. You can see here I've got leads, qualified leads. Important to see those metrics going up over time. This is specifically for Ladder. This is the sales funnel, so you can see how many companies have gotten to each stage. This is all time because I wanted to see what our close rate was. This is by campaign. How many leads, how many qualified leads do we get? So we can see, some campaigns are not driving qualified leads, others are. And then down here, this is the same thing, but by channel. And then this is specifically filtering for one channel. So I'm going to show you guys how to do all that. But actually the most important thing is just to get the data into the system in the first place. So if we look in HubSpot, you can see we have lots of data like this. You can see here kind of contacts qualified for services, contacts by month who inquired for services. We can see the deal funnel by month. You can see here there's intro call scheduled, sales qualified, demo scheduled, etc. There's the deal stage funnel here. Number of contacts created per month. Sessions of the sources. So you can see that HubSpot has this data, and I recommend that before you pull any data into anywhere, log into that platform and see what's actually available. If you go into the reports for HubSpot, you should be able to then drill down a little bit more into what are the actual here. I'll just click into here we go, this one here. You'll be able to drill down a little bit more into like what things are actually available. If we close this, let's go to the marketing dashboard here and see what Ed reports on. Contacts per month, contacts created who inquired about services. So yeah, this is the dashboard that we see earlier. You can see that Ed is reporting on new versus returning visitors by country. By source. So you can see we're tracking all the sources and stuff like that. So we want to get that data into Google Data Studio where we can report on it more flexibly. Right now we're stuck with the way that HubSpot reports, and maybe we need to have that data in a different system. It can be hard to give access to a CRM, so maybe we need to create a dashboard that's outside of HubSpot that's protected, where I can't like drill in and see who these contacts are and violate their GDPR rights. Let's think about how we get this data in. The way that you get the data in is that you need to get it into a Google BigQuery database. Now, this isn't the only way to do it, but this is the best way I've found so far. Google BigQuery is something that Google offers, which is basically like a big database. You can see here, I've imported this HubSpot data, lots of different tables. You can see contacts. This is the different things associated with with each lead, right? You can, let me see, preview that data. So yeah, here we go. So you have an ID, a bunch of different data around when they started. There we go. Company properties, LinkedIn links, names of the companies, how many employees they have. So we've got a lot of information here. That's where they're from, predictive value, so you could get a lead score, for example. Really like tons of things you could get. Here it's actually what web technologies they use. Quite interesting. So we could actually go after people who use Google Tag Manager or whatever. Cool. So lots of good information. How did I get this into here? Now, the way that I did that is I used something called Stitch. And what Stitch does is it allows you to stitch data together, basically, pull data from one source and put it into another. That's called an ETL. I think it stands for something transform load. Not important. But what is important is this platform builds on number of rows. So you think about rows in a spreadsheet. So far I've pulled in 1.4 million rows. I think it's $100 for every 5 million rows per month. Definitely check this out if you want to use it. Ladder has quite a lot of rows here, and I'm also pulling 700,000 of that from Facebook ads, which I can show you. You definitely want to check out and try and build this to the client, if at all possible. Let's click into HubSpot, and I won't go through actually creating the integration. Basically, all you have to do is authorize and then choose what parts of the data you want. Let's see what we're actually pulling. So I've gone through and I've ticked pretty much everything. And if you click into each one of these, so this is campaigns. You can think about these like spreadsheets, right? So we have a table called campaigns, or a spreadsheet called campaigns, and then these are the different names. So these are the email campaigns. So for example, if we wanted to pull in, the ID and the subject line, and how many people we send it to, like we could actually pull email data here. Now, if you look at, I've got companies, contact lists, contacts. Contacts is a useful one because that's how the contacts are called. The leads are called in HubSpot. So you can pull in different things here. This is just associated companies. You can pull in deals. You can pull in the different forms, subscription changes, workflows, deal pipelines, contacts by company. Every database or every table of data that's in HubSpot, you should really be able to pull through. Extract, transform, load, ETL. So I think you can do some kind of fancy stuff with the way you extract and transform the data. I'm not going to worry about this. All I really care about is that I pulled in the different tables that I wanted, and then you also then choose where you want that data to go, right? So I've got the HubSpot authorized. I can choose how often I want it to go across, going across every 30 minutes. And then if I go to destination, that's going to tell me where I'm actually sending the data. So current destination, Google BigQuery. So Google BigQuery, like we just saw, I just need to authorize this, and it's basically just a big holder of data. Just like Excel spreadsheets, it's got these different spreadsheets. Each one has different rows, and you can use all of this data in Google Data Studio because Google Data Studio has a direct integration with Google BigQuery. So to see that, if you go Manage Data Sources, and I'm pulling in lots of different things here. But if you go here, you can see BigQuery, select. Cool. So now I see Stitch. That's the project in BigQuery that I was using. And then I'm using the HubSpot data. And then I just need to choose what table I want. So if I wanted forms or whatever, like campaigns, like we saw before, I can pull that in. And then anything in that table is available. And so here we go. So I don't have much in that table right now because I didn't pull in that many metrics. But if I wanted that in there, I can add it. If I wanted to add more metrics here, I basically would just need to go back into my integrations, click into HubSpot, tables to replicate, Then I want to go into my campaigns. And then if I say I wanted all of these, I'm just going to track all fields. So now I've got all of the campaign data. Yes, continue. Now that's going to obviously add a lot more rows, so you might want to be a bit more judicious with what you pull. But that's going to start appearing in here in campaigns. We're going to start to see more rows, and then so they won't be in there yet. Once they start pulling, they will be, and then that's going to become available in Google Data Studio as well. Cool. So now we have that source. We can actually pull this data in. So you see here, I'm choosing the contacts source, which is one I made earlier, which is just pulling the contact details in based on what I pulled through. Now, how do I get this where it's showing like leads by over time? So you have to look for the date range dimension. If this section here, date range dimension, is what helps you filter. So you need some sort of date in order to filter. And in this case, what we've gone for is, sometimes it depends on what you're using. But in this case, if you just search created, you usually find it. So here there's associated company.properties.createDate.value. So that's when the company was created. This is when the first contact was created, which is actually what we want. And then this is when the first deal created. Apologies, that's what we want. So if it's just a contact, just a lead, I'm not that interested. I'm looking at the kind of people who are actually turning into deals, right? Cool. So and that's going to change obviously depending on what what your HubSpot setup is, what your system is, like what your different qualities are. All of that is customizable and configurable within HubSpot. So you'll just have to be able to look in here, see what these things are called. Like I see that Ed made something called Qualified for Services Team, which is why I was able to make this qualified thing here. And if I look, I've made this called qualified, but if I go to edit, here we go. The actual thing was called company properties .qualified for services .value, right? So that's something that Ed made, which is like a checkbox, and it's checked based on different rules, and that's how that works. Cool. So then I can have leads, which is just a count of all the rows, and then qualified. You can sort by the date. So the way I did that is I made a dimension month. So for the dimension of month, I chose the same date that was up here, and then I did show as month. You could also do like show as year month if you wanted to, but I did show as month. And then here I did sort by, and then I just chose, you can do what's in the chart, so month, and ascending. So now it's going from January to June. Date range, I'm choosing auto, which means it's going to follow this date range up here. Cool. Sales pipeline is a little bit different. It's using stages.label and the deals data source. This is again using contacts, which is the same up here, but in this case, I have segmented it by a different dimension, which is, here we go. This is associated company properties, HS Analytics, HubSpot Analytics, source data 2, right? So in this case, I found out source data 2 seemed to be the campaign. Right? So you're going to have to kind of go looking for these things and look in HubSpot to see what's in there. This one I've filtered custom just for the last 28 days, but you can switch it to auto, and then it's going to should update to the date range here, which is this year. Cool. There you go. Now this one here is basically the same, but what did I do differently? So this is create date, show summary row, sort by row count. Custom last 28 days, let's change that. Yeah, Okay, here we go. So I think the dimension was a little bit different. Yeah, so this is source data 1. So this looks like it's UTM source is what pulls through here. So again, it depends on what HubSpot puts in these fields, but this is the field that I found. Ed can tell us if it's the right one. Then this is by channel. So you can see it's HS Analytics source. So that looks like channel. And then this is, again, something that HubSpot has changed and made. Right? You can click auto, and then that's going to go to this full date range here. Cool. Okay. You can also filter this stuff. So for example, if you wanted to change this to just get rid of null, for example, like if you don't know the marketing source, you just want to filter HS source data 2. So you just go add a filter, create a filter, source HS source data 1, HS analytics source, HS source data 2, and then you're going to say is null, and you're going to exclude source that is not null. Save. Cool. It worked. Great. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of how this works. When you go into view mode, your client or you, they could just pull these numbers. We want to do last 30 days, for example, and everything's going to update, which is super cool. This isn't updating because this isn't based on a date range, but yeah, I mean, it's fantastic just once you get this data in one place, how much easier it is to see this data. You can kind of click through. So, this is 1 to 35. So actually, I think I can maybe, scroll here. Yeah, there we go. So you can scroll through and see what's in there. You can also export to PDF. So let's download the report. You can add a link back to the report. You could also password protect if you have a client where their data is quite sensitive. But yeah, whatever you need to do, once you get that data in, it's pretty easy to play around with. You just need to know what the different fields are called. So here we go. Here's a nice PDF. Now, obviously, BigQuery is useful for just more than just HubSpot data. For example, here I have, I don't know, I'm pulling in all the different Facebook campaigns, and you can see like what campaigns are in my account, for example. So like that's quite cool. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so yeah, these are my different campaigns. You can pull in different performance, etc. Stitch has quite a lot of integrations. So I've just got Facebook ads and Google right now, but let's just see what else we have. There's hundreds. AdRoll, AppsFlyer. So I know a few of our clients use AppsFlyer for mobile campaigns, so we can actually get mobile data in for the first time. Contentful, that's another CRM. There's the Facebook ads one I used. Google Analytics, you can pull data in, although Google Data Studio already has an automated integration. Klaviyo, email platform, Mixpanel, that's really cool. All the different other databases like MySQL, MongoDB, a lot of other kind of advertising platforms. Segment has an integration, which is very cool. SendGrid, so Shopify, Stripe, really whatever you need. You can pull all of your data, even Xero, like your finance data, Zapier. You can pull all of your data through Stitch, save it in a table in BigQuery, and then once it's in BigQuery, you can use it very easily here. So hopefully you guys play around with this. It's quite advanced. I will admit that you need to understand a little bit more about how this data is saved and what the form names are called and everything like that. It takes some playing around, but once you have this is going to make a big difference to the client. They will not know how to put this together. So it's adding a lot of value automating this, especially for our bigger clients like Wedgwood or Timeout, where reporting is extremely important to them. On that point, we actually have, I think, Salesforce. There we go. So that's a paid source, but I know this has been a big bugbear for a client like Wedgwood that really, really needs Salesforce data. Criteo is another example. They use Salesforce, but they also have Pardot here as well. So we can actually automate all of their reporting through Stitch. Really cool. Okay, thanks guys.